Hi Virgo, happy November. This is your general reading for the month of November, so please keep in mind it is general and it may not entirely resonate with everyone. You can also check out my videos for your sun, moon, or rising sign, or if you want to know about your life path, check out the one for your north node. Two couple disclaimers. Sometimes I do swear in my readings, and I also burp. Just means I'm channeling. The energy is coming out. Okay, so let's get started with your reading. It looks like a recent past event that could be influencing you right now is the Tower. So usually this card is about some type of structure or institution or something in your life that's been struck down, something that has kind of fallen apart. Usually with this, though, I see it as like you're getting illusions stripped away. You're starting to see things for what they are. It also feels like that event was preparing you for the future. That something that was taken away was something that couldn't sustain whatever's coming. So it actually, I mean, usually I feel like the Tower, even though it can be painful in the moment, it's usually for your best benefit, even if it doesn't always feel like it at the time. Because the Tower moment can be pretty intense. So the good news is it looks like it's behind you or in your near past. So you're moving away from it at this point. Where you are right now, it looks like you guys are working towards some self-sufficiency and independence. And if you're already there, then this is simply validating that. But it feels like for a lot of you, you're working toward a point where you can really feel comfortable standing on your own 2 feet. The Nine of Pentacles isn't just about having enough money to support yourself so that you can eat and keep a roof over your head. It's also about being able to enjoy the fruits of your labor. Because if you look at this card, she's in her garden, she's able to wear nice clothes, she has a bird of prey, and she has the time to actually enjoy what she's worked for. So something that's influencing you right now too is the Knight of Pentacles, which is usually this card I just hear, slow and steady wins the race. You know, it's earth energy, which you guys are familiar with, which can sometimes be a little bit slower than some of the other signs might like fire or air. But at the same time, it's methodical, it's thought out, it has a slow pace, but that's because every move is intentional. And if you guys are feeling frustrated that people aren't understanding that, it may be because they just can't. That's not their energy. You know, the air and fire signs like to move at a faster pace. So, whereas earth signs, you know, can move at a little bit more of a plodding, slow pace. I mean, this horse has all 4 feet on the ground. It's taking its time. It looks like you guys are also working towards something. You're trying to build. This is part of that building something. This is something influencing you. I feel like a lot of you really want to find a career where you're building something up that you feel really happy about. And you might be feeling frustrated when it comes to that. You might feel like it's not getting as far as you want because on top of that, you got the Knight of Cups in reverse, which means that we're waiting on good news. Also, the Ace of Pentacles in reverse. Maybe you were hoping for a new job opportunity, a new home, something new related to home or finance, that earth energy again, and you feel like it's not coming to fruition. It hasn't come full circle the way that you wanted to. But I keep getting, it's simply building. So take your time, you know, and when you're thinking about what it is you want to build for the future, what is it that can be built to last? What is it that you really want to see grow in your life? What is it that's worth tending to? So we've also got the Empress here in reverse, which is that earth energy again. The Empress is all about abundance and fertility, about making new life, building new things. So it's not necessarily just fertility for those of you who are not really ready to get pregnant, but it can also be about creating new things, building new things. You know, in some ways, birthing a concept and building your own business is not that different from having a baby. You know, it takes 9 months of gestation. It takes the birth. It takes the creation. You're not sleeping for a year. You know, you have you're making sacrifices for this thing. You're making choices. You're always considering it. You know, when you're starting your own business or building something new, it can feel like you just had a baby. And so in a lot of ways, fertility, it's the same concept. It's that creativity, building something new. So some of you may be feeling frustrated or feel like you're trying to build something and it's just not going the way that you want. And once again, here we've got the cups, the Page of Cups in reverse. And so the Page and the Knight of Cups, both I often see as messengers of good news coming. And with both of these in reverse related to work, abundance, that earth energy, fertility, building, creating, that means that these could be fairly emotional for you. Feeling that stagnation and feeling that difficulty in getting to where you want to go. And it feels like the Tower energy might be trying to loosen that up, move that forward. And with this card in reverse, it could also relate to relationships, to a certain amount of abundance that you want to reach. And you also got the Queen of Swords in reverse here. So with this one, I feel like usually the Queen of Swords is about cutting something out of your life or cutting people out of your life, cutting something out that doesn't serve you. So with this one, I feel like there could be a young person who might be slightly annoying, or who you think, why is this person in my life? I don't know if they're really worth having around. Are they more of a distraction? Are they annoying? Maybe this is someone you're just casually seeing or even working with, and you're thinking, is this really going to go anywhere or do anything? And it almost feels like, even though they might have immature energy at some times, they might teach you something. And it's not necessarily they're going to sit down and suddenly drop a knowledge bomb on you, but you might be watching them and have a sudden realization that applies to your own life. Or so they'll tell you something that you'll think, oh my God, I never would have thought of it that way. They just might change your perspective a little bit. So with this, I feel like if you're thinking of cutting some people out, maybe just let them stick around for another 10 minutes or so and see how it goes. But as far as the future, near future goes, you've got some transformation and change coming with the Death card here. This is never about an actual death. This is about a change. Death is transformative. And this also relates to Scorpio energy. So this is also about not being afraid to kind of go into your own underworld and have some transformation and change as far as, and I feel like in your feelings as well. Because over here, you've got the Queen of Cups. And with her, this is an influence for you right now. I feel like with her, it's really about mastering your emotions and honoring them with integrity and compassion for yourself. So with her, it feels like, honoring how you feel and then interpreting that in a way that's constructive. So for example, if you have a coworker or someone who said something that was hurtful to you, you don't necessarily have to go back to them and say, you hurt my feelings, I can't believe it. But more of thinking, okay, why did they hurt my feelings? What was it that they said specifically that was hurtful? What was it that they did that I had trouble dealing with? And then going to them and saying, you know what? In our conversation yesterday, you crossed a line and it's not happening again. And not that you have to necessarily be, for some reason they want me to say, they don't want you to be a cutthroat bitch, but be assertive and be clear about how you feel. And there may be something too with standing up for yourself. Because even with this Empress energy in reverse, it feels like you're not really feeling fully in your power. Because this is a lot of earth energy here. This is your element. So there could be something where you're feeling unseated. You're feeling like you're not sitting in your strength, sitting in your power. And for a lot of you, it feels like you might be feeling a small crisis when it comes to your feminine energy. Because you have, the Empress in reverse. You've got this Nine of Pentacles. You've got the Queen of Swords in reverse. And you've got the Queen of Cups here. So, for the first half of this month, Venus is in retrograde up until November 16th. And after that, Venus will still be in shadow. So the female energy on the planet right now has kind of come to a complete standstill with that Venus in retrograde. Now, Venus is in Libra for the first half of the month, which is good. Those two are very compatible together. But some of you may be feeling a little bit of an existential or identity crisis because of this. You might be feeling kind of torn, going through your identity, your feelings, and having some issues. Maybe having trouble seeing the beauty in the world, because Venus also rules beauty, not just love and femininity. And so, fortunately, because in October, Venus was in Scorpio, which is that transformation energy. It's this, it's that like, let's change everything and really shake it up. Whereas Libra is a bit more truth, balance, justice, fairness, beauty, love. It's a little bit kinder. So, which means it's also kinder on us. It's kinder energy. And I feel like some of you are reluctant to have that existential crisis with the moon in reverse here, because this usually means going through an existential crisis or doing some internal work on yourself. And I don't really feel like you guys have to do a ton. I think that as far as this goes, with honoring your emotions, feeling how to interpret your feelings in a constructive way, I feel like especially at work will really help you. But there's also some kind of heartbreak that you guys are getting over here with the Three of Swords in reverse. Because this card usually means you've already gone through the worst of the heartbreak. And so whatever it is that you're recovering from, whether you were dumped or ghosted, broken up with, whether you lost a job, you quit, however this applies, if you've been feeling sad or kind of heartsick about it, this means that the worst will soon be over. You've already gone through the worst parts of it and you're coming out of it. But for whatever reason, you're not really on the lookout for new opportunities. And it could be related to wherever this applies in your life, whether that's work or relationship or a friendship. And it feels like you guys probably will be soon. There will be something coming up soon that you'll think, oh, that's not worth getting out of bed for. But, right now, it feels like it's okay to kind of take a break. Especially if you're not ready to expend a big emotional investment into something. It feels like you guys kind of need to take care of yourselves. So even if it feels like you need to snuggle up in bed for another couple weeks or something, just make sure that you're taking care of yourself emotionally. That you're not letting yourself get too sad. And then it looks like you'll also be using your intuition here. It looks like in the future or near future, you'll be tapping in more to your mystical spiritual side, which is what the High Priestess represents. She's more of that feminine, intuitive, mystical energy. And she's also about tapping into emotions and feelings. And what I'm hearing is there's power in your emotions. So I think it's important to remember that. And this applies across all genders. Because, we all have these abilities within us. Intuition doesn't just exist for a certain gender or for certain people. Everyone has it. It's just that we tune it out or we aren't programmed to listen to it. And so this is really telling you, listen to your gut instincts, listen to yourself, because you might be getting some thoughts or feelings. For some of you, you might even feel heat around certain things. Like if you put your hand over something, you might be feeling some heat around an issue, whether it's good or bad. It'll depend on the individual. And so exploring that side may come as a result of having some choices in the past that you didn't want to explore. Now, this could relate to, I'm hearing feminine energy, but also spirituality. And maybe you've been looking at different paths, different schools of thought, different ideas, and there are certain things where you think, no, that's not for me. That's not really what I want to explore. Because upright, some people interpret this as the 7 deadly sins. So it could be 7 options or certain options that you didn't necessarily want to take. But it looks like for you guys, the thing to focus on is the stuff that nurtures your soul. Relying on your friends at this time and the things that make you feel happy. The 4 of Wands is about structure, but also celebration. So I feel like it's important to celebrate the little successes in your life. And not necessarily overdo it or, drink too much, but do things that you really enjoy, things that you really like. Because I think But this card, I'm getting like, it's just important to have fun and do things that make you laugh and make you smile. Do activities, hobbies, whatever. However that applies to you. Because it looks like out of that, you might be getting some ambition coming up. And it could be related to a specific part of your life. You know, something, maybe a new work opportunity. But usually with the Knight of Wands, it's that fire energy, creativity, action, communication. So it's making things happen, making things move forward. And I feel like for some of you, it'll really help you tap into your own creative potential with the Queen of Wands here. She's a pretty common influence right now. So this could also be a female fire sign, Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius that's in your life. But I really feel like this is an aspect of your personality for some of you. So it's really finding that creative force, that creative ability. For some reason, I'm hearing intelligence in this. And for some of you, I think maybe exploring your witchy side a little bit more. And with this, I'm really getting, once again, this applies to all genders. You know, it could be the creative feminine energy within you. So yeah, that is your reading for the month of November. And I hope you guys have a wonderful month, and I'll see you again next month.